Welcome to the Nourish to Thrive podcast, faith-forward, science-backed strategies for women who want more energy, less weight, and real answers. I'm your host, Tanya Pennington-Miller, a functional nutritional therapy practitioner and functional blood chemistry specialist with a master's degree in applied clinical nutrition. If you're tired of feeling dismissed by your doctor, confused by your labs, and stuck in survival mode, you're in the right place. Here, we simplify the science. We get to the root, and we anchor it all in truth, because God made your body to heal and thrive, not just survive. It just needs the right kind of support and less noise. Hello, my friend, and welcome back to the Nourish to Thrive podcast. I'm so glad you're here today. You are in the right place, especially if you're tired of food being a source of stress instead of stewardship. So today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I am going to walk you through what I actually eat in a day and why. So what this is a behind the scenes look at what fueling my day actually looks like. Okay. This isn't a formula or a strict meal plan for you to follow. This is a rhythm that is rooted in real food, in real life, and what my body actually needs to function well in the season I'm in. So I'm a wife. I am a mom to a toddler. I am a business owner. And I'm a woman in her mid-40s who wears a lot of hats. And like many of you, I need my food to work for me. I need it to stabilize my energy, to support my hormones, to keep my blood sugar steady, so that I can show up fully. So I can show up fully for my family, for my clients, and the life that God has called me to live. So what food should not be is another layer of stress in our lives. Okay. Some of this might feel familiar if you've been around here for a while, and some of it might surprise you or help you to connect the dots on why certain foods or timing patterns matter more than you realized. Okay, we're going to talk about the coffee that I drink, how I build my meals to support hormones and metabolism, what changes depending on my cycle phase, okay, and why I add certain things in like honey before I go for a walk or, cranberries onto my salad at night, okay? So again, this is not about copying what I eat. It's about understanding why I eat this way and how you can begin to build your own rhythm, okay? Rooted in nourishment and not obsession. Now, before we dive into the details, I want to make something very clear here. You are not going to hear from me specific serving sizes, okay? Because I simply don't measure them. Now, there was a time in my life when I did. I competed in figure competitions for years. And back then, every gram, every ounce, every macro was meticulously tracked. And quite frankly, that is not how I want to live anymore. And I'm just not going to. And I actually even thought about measuring everything out for, just the sake of this episode, just so that I could give you exact amounts. But the truth is, it wouldn't have been authentic because I just simply don't do that in real life. And I don't want to model a version of health that is built on perfectionism. Okay. These days, I build my plate based on how I feel, based on what my body needs, and the pace of my day. Okay. Some days I eat more, some days I eat less. And that flexibility is what makes it sustainable for me. Now, when I talk a little bit about cycle phases and where I am in my cycle, if you haven't listened to episode 6 and or 7 of my podcast, this is what is going to go into those phases for you. And so if you're still cycling, episode 6 would be for you. And if you are no longer cycling, episode 7 would be for you. Okay. So if you have any questions as I go through, talking about my harvest phase and my abide phase, you'll want to go back and listen to those episodes. So this episode is here to give you a peek into the rhythm and not a rigid formula. Okay. It's supposed to spark ideas, but not add pressure to your life. Okay. So let's dive in. My morning starts at about 5:30 in the morning. Okay. I get up between 5 and 5:30. And I start every morning with what I call my morning mojo. And if you have ever worked with me in any capacity, you know what this is. So it is about 16 ounces of room temperature filtered water. You can also do warm water here. Mine is generally room temperature. I add a half a teaspoon of Celtic sea salt, the juice from a quarter of a lemon wedge. Sometimes I do half of a lemon, just depends on how juicy the lemon is, and 1 teaspoon of raw apple cider vinegar. And you want to make sure if you're using this that you're using the apple cider vinegar with the mother. Okay, the bottle should say that. Now, this is the very first thing I do every morning. And it's not just a hydration habit. This is literally like my gentle wake up call. Okay. Because it sets everything in motion: digestion, circulation, lymphatic drainage. I mean, it even supports your nervous system. So, after sleeping, let's say 7 to 9 hours, you have been laying horizontally and not consuming anything. So your system is in this mild fasted state. It's slightly dehydrated. It's a bit stagnant. Okay. And these aren't bad things. This is our natural rhythm. But instead of jumping into the day with coffee or starting right away with food, I like to start with this mineral rich, gut loving drink. Okay. That tells my body, like, hey, it's safe to wake up now. So I'm going to walk you through each of these ingredients. Let's start with the Celtic sea salt. So I do about a half a teaspoon. This particular salt is packed with over 80 trace minerals, okay, including potassium, magnesium, calcium, sodium, okay, and they're all in this very naturally balanced ratio. So these minerals are going to support adrenal health, incredibly important for ladies our age. They're going to help to regulate fluid balance. They're going to play a crucial role in nerve conduction, in muscle function, in energy production. Okay. Now, potassium in particular is one of the most commonly depleted minerals, and it's essential for proper cellular hydration and for blood pressure regulation. And this is so important for women of a certain age. Okay, those of us who are in our perimenopausal and even menopausal years, really important. So this mineral-rich salt helps to replenish what was lost overnight through respiration, through breathing, through sweating, and just the natural detoxification process that happens while we sleep. Okay. Lemon juice. We want this to come directly from the lemon. And I have women ask a lot of times, can I buy the pre-squeezed lemon that comes in the little container? And I want to tell you this, you matter enough to take the time to cut up the lemon, to squeeze it into your glass. Okay, you are worth doing that every morning. Now, that being said, you can also make this drink the night before, and you can leave it on your counter in a mason jar with a lid. So that will help to save some time in the morning if you're needing to save a little bit of time. So lemon is a gentle liver stimulant. It helps to thin out your bile, which is so crucial for digestion and for detox. Okay. It's going to provide a small dose of vitamin C. So this is going to help to support our immune function and also our collagen production. Really important. So even though lemons are acidic outside the body, something that is often misunderstood is that they actually have an alkalizing effect once they're metabolized inside of our body. So this helps to reduce systemic inflammation over time. Okay. Plus the flavor, like who doesn't love lemon? It helps to make the whole drink just way more refreshing and enjoyable. So one of the most important parts of the drink. Now the raw apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of this. Okay. And again, I use the one with the mother because that cloudy sediment is rich in beneficial enzymes, okay, and organic acids. So apple cider vinegar is going to help gently raise your stomach acid levels, meaning making them more acidic. Okay. This is something that naturally declines with age and with chronic stress. So when stomach acid is too low, it's going to impair your protein digestion and also your mineral absorption. Okay. Especially zinc and iron. So, and they can also contribute to bloating and acid reflux. A lot of times when we have acid reflux, it's actually because we don't have enough stomach acid, or our stomach acid is not at a low enough pH. It's not acidic enough. So this small daily dose helps to support my gut and prepare my body for the first meal that I will have in a little bit. Okay. Now, I specifically mentioned that the water is room temperature, and this might seem like a small detail, but it's pretty big because cold water can actually constrict your digestive organs, okay, especially when consumed like first thing in the morning. So, room temperature water and even warm water is going to be more soothing and easier on your system, okay? So, this full 16 ounces, you can do a little bit more, okay? Still beneficial if you do a little bit less. It's going to help to rehydrate you after sleep, and it's going to give your cells what they need to start functioning well. Okay. Hydration literally drives every metabolic reaction in your body. So it's really important. And another bonus of this combo also helps to support your lymphatic system. And I love this because your lymphatic system does not have a pump like your heart does. It needs some help to get moving. So, movement and hydration are what's going to help your lymph carry waste out of your tissues. Okay, so after a night of being still, laying there, this drink is going to help encourage just this gentle flow again. Okay. It's a small but mighty signal that tells your whole body that it is safe to wake up, to reset, and to move into the day with intention. So it's not super fancy. Literally takes under a minute to make. Okay. But it's one of the most supportive and stabilizing things that I do all day. I never skip it. Like I bring these ingredients when we travel. Sometimes I don't bring the apple cider vinegar, but the rest of the ingredients, I guess I travel with my own lemons. Okay. Now, about 6 a.m., I'm now going to have what I call my hormone balancing coffee. So in this coffee is 8 ounces of organic coffee, one pasture raised egg yolk, about a quarter teaspoon of Celtic sea salt, about a half a tablespoon of grass-fed butter, about an eighth of a cup of unsweetened hemp milk, and about 3 tablespoons of organic heavy cream. Okay, again, I don't measure these things, but those were just kind of my best guesses. Now, here's what makes this cup of coffee so magical. You do need to have a frother, okay? We need to froth all of the ingredients aside from the coffee. Okay, we need to froth the egg yolk, the salt, the butter, the hemp milk, the cream. You want to froth those until they are silky smooth, okay? And then you can pour the hot coffee over it. And I mean, this one step changes everything. It blends the fats, the proteins, the minerals into this like creamy, well emulsified drink that's not only easier to digest, but so incredibly satisfying. Okay. There's not going to be a gritty texture or an oil slick on top. It's just the most nourishing and indulgent cup that supports your body instead of stressing it. Okay. I almost forgot the cinnamon. I also add cinnamon and froth that up as well. Okay. So this isn't just a cozy cup of coffee, though. This is a strategic decision that is rooted in hormone health, okay, in blood sugar regulation and in nervous system support. So I want to kind of break this down for you. I personally love the ritual of coffee. Like I am not here to demonize it. And some health practitioners are, but I really enjoy a morning cup of coffee. But how we drink it does matter. So by pairing my coffee with real nourishment instead of just drinking it on an empty stomach, I'm really going to avoid that big cortisol spike that will leave so many women feeling wired and anxious, but then eventually exhausted, right? So now organic also matters here. Coffee is one of the most pesticide sprayed crops, and cleaner sourcing really matters. It supports your liver load and your hormone balance. Okay, so I will share with you in the notes the coffee that I love. There is a discount code attached to that link for you. I love Peak State Coffee. They have a stress less blend, which contains, like I mentioned, less caffeine, as well as adaptogens and mushrooms for added adrenal support. Okay, I don't like to pack a big caffeine punch right when I wake up. And I really only have this 1 cup of coffee. I used to be a 2 cup of coffee drinker, and I might have 2 cups of coffee a few times a year now. So the 1 cup really does me well. So I also have the egg yolk, and I like to have this from a pasture-raised source. And this really is like the secret weapon of this cup of coffee. They are egg yolks are rich in choline, so it's going to help to support liver function and methylation. These are both key for detoxification, including estrogen clearance. Really important. So they're also a great source of your fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K2, plus essential fatty acids that help to stabilize your blood sugar. So it's going to give your coffee this like really silky texture. It's going to boost its nutrient density in a way that, I mean, you just really wouldn't expect. Okay. But again, it's the frothing here that brings the magic. If I didn't have a frother, I would not be adding the egg yolk. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking like, maybe I'll try all of these other ingredients, but I'll leave the egg yolk out for now. That's what a lot of ladies do. Just have the courage to try it. Okay. That egg yolk just really makes a creamy, frothy cup of coffee. Okay. Now, the Celtic sea salt, just like in my morning mojo, I like to add this for electrolyte support. Okay. It's going to be really important for our adrenal health. Now, caffeine is a diuretic. So most women are already running low on minerals. Okay. Especially if they're under stress, if they're very active or in perimenopause. And this salt helps to protect the adrenals and maintain your hydration at a cellular level. Okay. Grass-fed butter. So again, roughly half of a tablespoon. This is going to add some butyrate, which is really nice. It's a short chain fatty acid that is amazing for your gut health. So it's also going to bring in stable saturated fats that are going to help to slow that caffeine absorption, right? We don't want to shoot up really high to be let down shortly after. Okay. So I'm going to get steady energy from this, but not spike and crash. So grass-fed butter specifically also contains CLA, which is a conjugated linoleic acid. It's a really high antioxidant fatty acid that is great for helping to release stored body fat into your bloodstream so that you can burn it off. Okay. So this is supportive in fat metabolism and even inflammation reduction. Okay. Then we have the unsweetened hemp milk, roughly 1/8 of a cup. You can do more, you can do less. Hemp milk is going to be really rich in omega-3s, and it's also going to add a little kind of nutty balance to this creamy base that we have. And it's also dairy-free. So I know some of you aren't consuming dairy or it doesn't agree with you. And so this is a really nice option for that. I don't use a lot, just enough to round out the flavors and the nutrients in there. Then we have the organic heavy cream, roughly 3 tablespoons. I do love heavy cream in my coffee. This really is what makes it indulgent. The cream just really adds a mouth feel, right? Like a richness. Again, and fat soluble vitamins. Okay. Especially A and K2. Okay. And it also helps to keep blood sugar stable and promote satiety. So I'm not reaching for food too early, or riding a cortisol roller coaster. Okay. And then lastly, I do love to add the cinnamon. And what's nice about the cinnamon is there's a nice flavor profile to it, but also it's great for balancing blood sugars. So little bonus there. So now I used to do what most women do: wake up, pour the coffee, and go. Okay. But over time, I learned how harsh that can actually be on the body. And especially when you're working through hormone imbalance, adrenal fatigue, or, blood sugar instability. So this version of coffee is really about being intentional. Okay. It supports my energy, my hormones, my mood. Okay. Instead of wrecking them. So, and it, most importantly, it's delicious. It's creamy. Okay. It's deeply nourishing. So it's one of the ways I make my mornings feel grounded and not rushed. Okay. Because how you start your day truly sets the tone. And for me, this rhythm is a reminder to begin with intention and not begin with adrenaline. Now, something else worth mentioning here that doesn't have to do with food, but is important, is that I'm always up before the sun rises. Okay. Especially in the winter months. I am just like a morning person through and through. So I also wear my Luminette 3 light therapy glasses for about 30 minutes every morning. I just pop them on while I'm making my morning mojo, frothing my coffee. And then even as I sit down for my morning Bible studies. Okay. And here's the reason. We have about this 30 to 60-minute window after waking up to signal our circadian rhythm that, hey, it's morning time. And if I can't get natural light into my eyes in that first 30 to 60 minutes, this is the tool that I turn to. Now, I wouldn't need these if the sun was already up when I woke up in the morning. I could just go outside and get this benefit for free, okay? But I wake up before the sun is up, hours before the sun is up. And so I'm going to go deeper into this in a future episode. But for now, just know this is another simple rhythm that helps to set the tone for my day. So, and I'll go ahead and share a link for you in the show notes so that you can check them out in case you are also an early riser like me. You also can get a light box, the 10,000 lux. I chose to do the glasses because they can also travel with me, but we'll talk about that on a future episode. Okay, so 8:00 rolls around and I'm making breakfast. Now, again, I don't measure anything here. Okay, I make kind of like this big skillet style breakfast for my family, and then I just plate what feels good for me in the moment. And that naturally is going to vary day to day, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so what are the usual players for this breakfast skillet? Pasture-raised eggs, okay? Uncured bacon or maybe some uncured sausage, mushrooms. Love putting avocado on top. I love putting broccoli sprouts on top. I might do a handful of strawberries on the side, okay? Now, all of these ingredients make a true blood sugar balancing meal, okay? We are anchored in protein, in fats, and in fiber. And this literally keeps me full for hours. My husband as well. It helps to stabilize energy and to just really support my hormones from the ground up. Okay. So the pasture-raised eggs, we've already touched on these, but they just really are a daily staple. They're rich in B12 and choline and biotin, selenium, vitamin D, and they just really support everything from hormone production to metabolism to brain health. Okay. And I really prioritize quality here. We actually have a local farm out here that does mobile fed and pasture raised eggs. And they just offer a far more nutrient density than conventional eggs. So getting them from somebody local can be incredibly beneficial for your health. The uncured bacon or sausage, I really look for products without added sugar and without the added nitrates, okay? And of course, always look for humanely raised sources. And these are just really going to add that savory and rich profile, right? While also increasing my protein intake. So, and this protein intake is so incredibly critical for, for muscle maintenance, for thyroid hormone conversion, and neurotransmitter production, like hello dopamine and serotonin, right? Giving us motivation and joy and happiness. Okay. The mushrooms, I love adding mushrooms for their immune modulating properties. So they contain beta glucans, which help to support the gut and our immune system. Okay. And they're also a great source of vitamin D when we are exposed to the sunlight. Okay. Which I am every single day. So mushrooms just kind of bring that earthy and grounding feeling to the dish. And of course, with a nutrient synergy as well. So love topping this breakfast with avocado. Okay. I do not like warm avocado. So I wait till it's all done. Avocado goes on top. Healthy fats are essential for hormone production. We can't have a libido. We can't even have a sex drive if we're not getting healthy fats into our diets. Okay. So important. Also great for nervous system support, of course, for satiety, keeping us full. And avocados are really going to bring potassium and fiber, which most women aren't getting enough of. Okay. The avocado is also going to help your body absorb the fat soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, okay, that you have on the rest of your plate. Broccoli sprouts. This is a really powerful addition. And I often recommend to women, keep broccoli sprouts in your fridge and just put them on top of almost every meal. Okay. Broccoli sprouts, and I'm talking specifically the sprouts, not just broccoli. Okay. They are high in sulforaphane. So this is a compound that supports liver detoxification pathways, and this is especially helpful for estrogen metabolism, which we've talked a lot about on previous episodes. And so I just sprinkle these on top. They're raw, they're fresh, they just give a light crunch. So always keep these around in your refrigerator. Strawberries are really kind of my go-to berry when I want something just fresh and light. They're low glycemic. Really all berries, any fruits in the berry family are going to be low glycemic. They are antioxidant rich. They're loaded with vitamin C, which of course is going to support immunity and again, our collagen production. So I keep the portion moderate to stay in the primal rhythm. Okay. But it's just enough to really round out my meal. Again, I'm not measuring here. This could change day to day. Some days I might do 2 strawberries. Other days I might do 4. Okay. Now, during my harvest phase and my abide phase, again, you're going to want to go back to episode 6 to really learn about these. But my harvest phase is going to be days 11 to roughly 11 to 15 in my cycle. My abide phase is going to be roughly, days 20 to the end of my cycle. During these 2 phases, I often add one date with some butter on top, sprinkled with salt. Okay. This combo helps to support progesterone and nervous system balance during these portions of my cycle. Okay. And of course, the natural sugars in the day are going to help to calm cortisol and boost serotonin. Okay. While, of course, the butter, the fat in the butter is going to slow the glucose response. So we're not going to get that big spike. And a pinch of Celtic sea salt gives, some added trace mineral support, but quite frankly, it makes it taste so incredibly good. Like that sea salt is the magic of that little recipe. So it's like this small and satisfying upgrade. Okay, like my husband loves when I am in those phases of my cycle because he loves this little treat. So really helpful when the body is asking for more nourishment. Okay. So this meal, it's simple. It's satisfying. I share it with my family. We sit down for breakfast. And I just believe that the sitting together is just as nourishing as the food itself. There's something that is just really sacred about starting the day with real food, with real conversation, and just these rhythms that remind us that we are not in a rush, which is actually something that my daughter has really done for me because I did used to rush through breakfast, but that girl takes a long time to eat. And so I have learned to lean into it and just enjoy that time. Okay, so then around 10 a.m., I get some movement in. Okay, my daughter and I head out for a roughly 3-mile outdoor walk. Half of it is uphill. So it really is this like steady movement that gets my heart rate up and also just gives me that space to, be outside, to breathe, to connect and just like really reset daily. And we're out there for over an hour, maybe around an hour and 15 minutes. And it's really just one of my very favorite daily rhythms for, for metabolism, for my nervous system, and bonding time with my daughter. We just love it. So before I go out for this walk, I like to sip on my electrolytes. Okay. And I also take about a teaspoon of raw honey. Okay. And I use this combo intentionally. So even though I've already eaten breakfast a couple of hours ago, I still like to give my body some light support before extended movement. Okay. Especially when there's elevation involved, which we have out here. And of course, heat, right? So the electrolytes are going to help maintain my hydration. They're going to support adrenal health. They're going to help to keep my energy steady. And then the raw honey, aside from tasting delicious, is going to offer this quick burning fuel source, right? Without spiking insulin or stressing my system. So this is not about calories. This is about cortisol. Okay. A little bit of clean, natural sugar helps to prevent unnecessary stress signaling during physical activity. Okay. And raw honey, you notice I'm saying raw, it's important that it is raw, is more than just sugar. It's really full of enzymes and minerals and antioxidants. I recommend always choosing local if you can, raw, unfiltered honey. And the darker, the better. Okay. Because darker varieties tend to contain more therapeutic compounds. So, and a bonus with honey is that, especially if you're choosing it local, may help to support seasonal allergies. Okay. It's going to help your seasonal allergy resilience over time. So, nice little benefit there. Now, when we get back from our walk, and if you follow me on social media, you have probably seen me talk about this. When we get back in, my daughter and I share one lemon wedge. Okay. It's one of my favorite ways to rehydrate and refuel. So watermelon is rich in potassium, which is just really going to help replenish the electrolytes that were lost through sweat. And I'm sure you know, watermelon has a high water content, so it's going to help to support hydration at the cellular level. So, and of course, the natural sugars in watermelon are going to help gently refill liver glycogen stores, which you emptied while exercising. So that's also important after movement. So easy to digest, makes it a great choice for post-activity when your body isn't quite ready for something heavy. And I mean, let's be honest, it's the cutest thing, sharing a fresh watermelon wedge with my 14-month-old daughter after our walk. It's just become one of our favorite things to do. It's simple, it's nourishing, and it's sweet in more ways than one. And we just do one wedge. That is all. Just one little triangle. We're not getting in a lot of calories at this point, but it's a nice little refresher after walking outside. So around noon is when my lunch is going to come. And I like to keep this one just really simple, really satisfying. My base is generally going to be chicken thigh, okay, just for the high quality protein. Again, I like to add avocado for the fiber and the healthy fats. I like to top this with salsa, a lot of times with sour cream, some kind of hot sauce. And again, topping it with broccoli sprouts. Okay, so we get that sulforaphane rich punch, okay, to support detox pathways. So now, again, coming back to my cycle, if I'm in my harvest or abide phase, I might add a scoop of black beans, okay, for the extra fiber and the slow digesting carbs, which is very supportive of progesterone production. Okay. This is one of those meals that really hits all the key notes: protein, fat, fiber, flavor. Okay. Let's not forget about that. The chicken thigh is rich in zinc, in B vitamins, in absorbable iron. The sprouts are going to give, it's going to give us what we need to help to clear estrogen effectively. The avocado and the sour cream help to support satiety and blood sugar balance. But the carbohydrate additions during these two phases with the black beans are intentional. This is the time when your body naturally needs more carbohydrates to support progesterone production, okay, which is going to help to stabilize your mood and help to calm the nervous system. Okay, so the black beans offer fiber and resistant starch, which is really important because this helps to feed the beneficial gut bacteria, okay? It's going to help to support your colon health. So it's a key for hormone detoxification and regularity, okay? So again, I don't track or weigh anything here. I simply listen to what my body is asking for. Okay. Now 4 p.m. rolls around. And if today is a training day, then this is about when I'm going to work out. And before my workout, I like to drink a blend of BCAAs, okay, branched chain amino acids. I like to do a scoop of creatine and another scoop of electrolytes. Okay, just stir it all together, drink it up before I work out. Now, there's a benefit to drinking these during your workout. I just happen to enjoy plain old water when I work out. So I drink these beforehand, and I can do that because I'm an adult, okay? But if you do enjoy drinking flavor during your workout, then very beneficial to continue drinking these during the workout. So this isn't about chasing aesthetics, okay, as it once was for me, okay? It's about honoring my body with the tools that help it to stay strong, okay, that help my body to stay resilient and energized, especially in this season of life. So the branched chain amino acids help to support muscle repair and recovery, okay, especially helpful on the days when maybe my meals are a little bit more spaced out, or, I'm working out a little bit later in the day, or my calories happen to be a little bit lower for one reason or another. It's going to help to prevent muscle breakdown. Okay. This becomes really, really important as we age. The electrolytes aren't just about hydration, although they are, but they help to support cellular energy. Okay. They're going to help to support muscle contractions and nerve signaling. Okay. And of course, they're going to help to replenish what we're losing through sweat. And then creatine. This is one of the most studied effective supplements for both muscle strength, which I think we hear about a lot, but also for brain health. So creatine is going to help with ATP production, okay, which means more energy for lifts, but also clearer thinking, both in and outside of the gym. Okay. So this combo helps me to show up well for my workouts, okay, without overstimulating my system. Like I used to be big on pre-workouts, and this combo is now my pre-workout. So it's really this more of like a gentle support rather than putting me into overdrive. Okay. So my purpose for this combo is to stay sharp, to stay steady and strong, okay, in this very season. Okay. And quite frankly, for all the seasons still to come. Okay. So I will share my links to my favorite branch chains, my creatine and electrolyte combo in the show notes so that you can see what I personally use and trust. Okay. You get a discount on those as well. And then dinner. So around 6 p.m., dinner is usually centered around something like a ribeye. Okay. Rich in iron and zinc and B12 and of course, healthy fat. Grass-fed is, of course, always best, but, sometimes we can't find grass-fed or, we're just kind of priced out on it, right? So you at least want to aim for natural beef. So, look for something with no antibiotics, no hormones. Ideally, it would be locally sourced. This is not always about perfection. It's about minimizing the inflammatory stuff that can sneak into conventional meats. Okay. I like to pair this with like a really hearty, colorful, and happy salad. Okay. Salads just really never become boring to me. And I like to rotate in different toppings. Just really, you can choose your toppings here. Love pepperoncinis. They have a great, tangy crunch, little probiotic benefit. I love adding pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds. You get the benefits of magnesium and zinc and healthy fats. I love using aged or raw cheeses. Okay, I go back and forth, of course, for flavor, but you're also going to get some calcium, some digestion-friendly fats in there. Now, I also love coming back to my harvest and abide phases. During these phases, I love adding dried cranberries. I mean, who doesn't love dried cranberries on their salad? They're tart, they're chewy, they're just like this perfect addition of carbohydrates to support progesterone production during those phases. Okay. It's going to help to support our mood, nervous system regulation. Okay. I mean, they're just like the perfect pop of flavor, right? In a salad. So, love to add those. And so this meal gives me, just deep nourishment, both physically and emotionally. It's grounding, it's satisfying, it's real food that leaves me feeling fueled, but not weighed down. Ribeye is one of the most nutrient-dense cuts of meat. Okay, like you're going to get support for thyroid hormone production, energy, hormone health, especially for women over 35. Okay, and of course I switch out my proteins. I don't eat ribeyes every day. Ground beef, filet, chicken thigh. Just really depending on what I have on hand. Okay. The salad toppings, of course, provide trace minerals and fiber and digestive support. And just help me to keep my plate interesting and delicious. So just really cycle through on different toppings. And this isn't a light dinner. You might have caught on to that, but it's intentional nourishment. It's, literally one of the meals I look forward to the most. Okay, but I do make sure that I finish this meal about 2 to 4 hours before bedtime. That way, by the time I am sleeping, my body isn't still focused on digestion. Okay. It can focus on detoxification, on repair, and true restoration instead. We don't want our bodies to be digesting while we're sleeping at night. Okay. Let's talk water. Let's talk hydration. So I aim for around 80 ounces of filtered water a day, plus an extra maybe 20 to 30 ounces of electrolytes. Okay. Especially if I'm working out, sweating more, feeling drained. So, and here's the other thing for me, and I keep talking about the season I'm in. I'm still nursing. Okay. I'm active. I live in a dry mountain climate. So hydration is really, really important for me. But hydration, what's important to understand is that it's not just about water. It's about minerals. Without enough sodium, potassium, magnesium, and trace minerals, your cells can't actually use the water you drink. Like you can still become dehydrated drinking a ton of water. Okay, so I rotate between trace mineral drops, okay, that I'll add to my water throughout the day, a full spectrum electrolyte mix, which I've been talking about. I also will make sometimes, I don't do this daily, but I make a homemade adrenal cocktail, which I'm going to walk you through this. And I'll drop links to specific products that I use in the show notes, okay, so that you can find them easily and just, kind of start where you are if you want to try some of these. Now, the adrenal cocktail is something that I find myself coming back to, especially when I feel depleted or overwhelmed, or just like I know I need a mineral reset. Okay. So I start with 12 ounces of coconut water. It's going to be rich in natural potassium and just like a really solid hydration base. Okay. Better than using just filtered water. I do a teaspoon of camu powder. Now, this is a natural whole food source of vitamin C. Okay. And this is going to help to support your adrenals and your immune function. I use 1 scoop of fermented fruit powder. So this is going to help to increase the antioxidants, support my gut, support metabolic health. Okay. And then I also like to add a scoop of collagen. So this, of course, collagen helps joints and skin, also helps your gut lining, and just adds a touch of protein to help balance the blood sugar. Okay. And then lastly, a pinch of the Celtic sea salt that we've been talking about. So this blend really helps to replenish what both stress and activity deplete. Okay. Especially potassium, sodium, vitamin C. Like your vitamin C gets zapped during times of stress. Okay. And these are all critical for adrenal function. So the fermented fruits help to support digestion and antioxidant pathways. Okay. The collagen is a really gentle way to round it out with a bit of protein that doesn't weigh me down. Okay. So again, I don't count macros. I don't eat by a clock. I definitely don't believe every meal needs to be weighed or tracked to be effective. Now, there is a caveat. I don't struggle to get in enough protein. And I know some women do. So if that is something that you're working on, if you have trouble consuming enough protein, then counting protein for a season might actually be helpful for you. Okay, not to become rigid, but to build awareness and make sure that you're giving your body what it needs. Okay, for myself, I pay attention. I pay attention to my energy, my cycle, my sleep, my cravings. And I build my plate to work with my body. Some days that means more carbs. Some days that means a little more fat. It's flexible because our bodies are not static. So our food shouldn't be either. You don't have to eat what I eat. But I do hope that this gave you a few ideas, and not just for what to put on your plate, but how to approach your plate. Okay, with intention, not with obsession. And with the freedom to honor what your body is asking for in the season that you are in. And it's also really important to mention, and we've talked about this on previous episodes, before each of these meals, it is so incredibly important that we get our bodies into our parasympathetic rest and digest state. We talked a lot about this in the last episode. We cannot fully digest our food if we are in our fight or flight. So saying a prayer, an intentional prayer before a meal, is going to tell our brains, hey, we're about to eat. Start producing all of those digestive enzymes, those digestive juices, so that you can actually utilize the food you're about to eat. So it's a really important mention. Even just taking a deep breath for 3 seconds and exhaling for 3 seconds can help. Okay. Before we close, I just want to leave you with this. Your body is a gift. And the process of learning how to nourish it well is not about control. Okay. It's about trust. It's about trusting the cues that he gave you. Trusting that you don't have to do it perfectly to do it faithfully. And trusting that even something as simple as how you build your plate can be a part of how you honor him. So as you move through your day, I pray that your rhythms feel rooted. I pray that your meals feel peaceful. I pray that your heart would feel anchored. He is walking with you in every shift, in every choice, in every season. And God's not leaving your health out of his plans. Friend, thank you for spending part of your day with me. If this episode blessed you or gave you something new to try, I would love to hear from you. Come say hi over on Instagram at tanya.pennington.miller. And don't forget to follow the show, of course, so that you never miss an episode. That's it for today on the Nourish to Thrive podcast. If you found value here, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or send it to someone who's walking a similar path. Keep showing up, keep asking questions, and know that healing is possible, especially when you trust the one who designed your body to heal. Until next time, stay rooted in truth and nourished in grace.